Hey brothers, and welcome back to Bearcat Update. I'm your host Jason Holland, and today we'll be covering the massive coaching changes, baseball series against Newman, softball's weekend at home, and track and field's time on the road. Before we get into the action, make sure to take a second to subscribe to KNWT TV on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that bell to be notified the second that we post new content. Let's get it.
And he's hitting to the backfield, breaks loose from one would-be tackler around the corner right side to the 30, 25, sideline 20 to the 15, the 10, the 5, into the end zone, touchdown Northwest. West, ball at the 19-yard line.
After over a week of searching, Northwest men's basketball has finally found its next head coach. Bearcat Athletics announced yesterday that Matt Keeley will take over the reins of the program after the departure of four-time national champion Ben McCollum. Keeley spent the last 7 seasons with NAIA's Ottawa, Arizona, where he compiled a record of 113 and 89, and led the team to back-to-back conference titles 2022 and 2023. Best of luck to Keeley as he leads Northwest through this next chapter. Keeley takes over a program that was 29-5 last year and made the Sweet 16. Along with a winning culture he's adopting, he has a plethora of talent to work with as Northwest transitions into his era of management. After talking about Northwest's newest coach, we figure we might give you guys a rundown on another Northwest legend. Take it away, Tayden.
For this week's episode of Bearcat Sports History, we're going to talk about a certain character who has evolved over the years. With all the history at Northwest, he has lived to see a lot of it. I'm talking about no one other than Bobby Bearcat. Bobby Bearcat is the mascot of Northwest Missouri State University and is always roaming on campus and always shows up for the Northwest home football games and basketball games. But today, we'll be talking about the evolution of the iconic mascot. Northwest got the name Bearcats in 1960, but before Bobby Bearcat, Northwest will have an unofficial mascot named Mike the Dog for a year. The first sketch of Bobby Bearcat was made in 1927 for Northwest by Denison Manufacturing Company of Massachusetts. The drawings were created to help promote school spirit. Later sketches would be made by the art department, and Bobby Bearcat would become the university's sole mascot. The first ever Bobby Bearcat was worn by Coach Vinny Vaccaro in the late 1960s and was made from fiberglass. Then, in the 1970s, Bobby Bearcat would get a redesign which consisted of white felt heat and mittens created by a local Maryville seamstress. Then, in the 1980s, Bobby Bearcat would get another redesign with a more furry and a more huggable look that was made from yellow fox fur and would become more fierce looking through the years while wearing his football or basketball uniform. Bobby Bearcat will always have a lasting legacy here at Northwest, as he's always getting the crowd pumped up at every football and basketball games and giving people high fives. Bobby Bearcat will forever be known as a proud symbol of school spirit and athletic excellence. I'm Tayden Hensley from Bearcat Update.
Thanks, Tayden. Starting off baseball's news, last Tuesday the Bearcats hosted Washburn University in a game where Brady Miles would smash 2 home runs, but Northwest would come up short in a 7-12 loss. The Bearcats would prove unlucky again as William Jewell would come to town the next day and the Bearcats would go down in an 8-18 struggle. The Bearcats hosted Newman in a 3-game series honoring retiring baseball coach Darren Lowe. In the first game, the Bearcats would put up a great fight where they would lose in extra innings 5-7. In the second game, the Bearcats would not find their footing once again, coming up short in a combined 24-hit game, losing 11-12. After the ceremony in honor of head coach Darren Lowe's upcoming retirement, we figured it was fitting to see what it takes to be an MIAA outfielder. Take it away, Zach.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Do You Have What It Takes? The segment where we answer that spur-of-the-moment question when you look at the TV and say, yeah, I can do that. In this episode, I would like to ask you if you could be a certified cornerstone in the outfield. Also known as, the entire outfield. Left, right, and center field are crucial positions in the diamond, so let's see if you have what it takes to fill them. And if you want that, take these skills into consideration. You will need to be able to track fly balls coming your way, so make sure to have good eyes for all tracking purposes. Now you will also need to be able to cover your end of the field, so you must know where you're going at all times. Lastly, you need a powerful throwing arm that can get that crucial out at home, so make sure to improve your shoulder as well as your arm. Now, those skills will give you your corner of the diamond, but what will get them taken away just as fast? Let's talk about it. Being unable to cover your ground and give up hits will bench you right away. Or how about the opposite? Just standing there and watching the ball fly away? Yeah, you're gone, buddy. Lastly, overthrowing the catcher will end with you talking to the coach by the night's end. Don't take my word for it. Let's take a peek at this week's hypotheticals, where we will see Texas versus Stanford and Wake Forest versus Alabama. Now, in this first clip, we will see Dylan Campbell showing off close play accuracy. Let's take a look. Now, in this first clip, you will see runners on first and second with 1 out. Now, as you can see here, there's a pop fly to Campbell, and he will field it perfectly. He will run up, but as you can see here, there's a runner already going on the catch. He tags up, and he's going towards third. This is where Campbell will take all of his momentum and throw it straight. And off 1 bounce, he will do it perfectly. 1 bounce, the runner will be out on the catch, and he will look dumbfounded, just as dumbfounded, of course, as his third base coach. In the second clip, Wake Forest Luis Costello will show you fly ball pathing. Now, as you can see, it's the bottom of the 9th with 1 out and a sizable lead to Wake Forest. So you see 22-5, yeah, it's kind of how the road works when you're the #1 seed. But as we can see here, the ball is batted extremely hard to the fence of left field. And so Costello will show off amazing pathing, because as you can see, he is all the way in the back here. He's on the warning track, but he is going to have to catch a ball that is landing here at the G in Gene Hook's field. So what is he going to do? He's going to line himself up with the start of the warning track, and then he's going to put himself all the way forward, and then right when it's about to fall, he's going to take 2 large steps, 1, 2, and then he is going to land, catching the ball, putting it into his chest so it doesn't fall out, and then he holds it up as he basically catches a game for the entire rest of the time. Now, those were some great outfielders. Do you think you can hang with players like them here in the MIAA? Comment down below and tell us if you have what it takes. That's all the time we're going to have for the rest of the semester. I hope I get to see you in the next semester when we find out if you have what it took. Back to you, Jason.
Thanks, Zach. With just 10 games remaining in the regular season, Bearcat softball is also trying to mount some momentum and make a push for the postseason. Northwest took its next step toward a possible playoff berth with its doubleheader at home against rival Missouri Western on Friday. With sophomore Jaden Striegel on the mound, the Bearcats shut out the Griffins in the first game 3-0. Senior Lauren Gray tallied 2 RBIs, driving in senior Lily Filger both times en route to the win. The second contest would not go in the home team's favor, though, as Northwest dropped a 5-0 loss to Missouri Western. Neither team was able to score through the first 3 innings, but the Griffins exploded offensively to tune of 5 runs in the top of the 4th and ultimately led the rest of the way. The Bearcats will continue their 12-game home stretch with another doubleheader against Pittsburgh State next Friday. One of our crew members is a member of the football's media team, which means we get exclusive access as we meet some of the faces who shine on Saturday. Take it away, Luke.
As the light at the end of the tunnel for Spring 2024 Bearcat Update becomes bigger and bigger, let's take a look back at some of the best moments from our time with the football team, along with some of the new faces that you can expect to see in the green and white this upcoming fall.
So Winter Wonderland, we started a few years back just to have a focus. Our goal is to play late in December, and so with the colder weather, we say we have to be out and training, and so mentally we're prepped for it.
In regards to recruiting, we just signed our 2024 class. Going to be a really good class for us, 32 high school kids and three transfers. Got a 4-state radius that we definitely go to in Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and Missouri.
All right, so treatments are a little bit different in the off season. We're not dealing with as many rush to get back from week to week. We have a little bit more time on our hands. when it comes to the off-season stuff. We have a lot more soft tissue stuff as opposed to that contact and direct blow that comes with football.
What can the fans expect from 2024 Tayden Brady? Be the same Jaden that I've always been, give it my 100%, and then just do whatever I can to help other people out, help the team out. You guys can expect big things from the Bearcats this year.
I didn't come to Northwest to be a part of a 7-4 team, some superstar that would be posted all over the newspapers or whatever it may be. Obviously, I want to make plays and I want to win games. That's what's more important to me.
Like that. It's defensive line. DB by far. Defensive line. They could by far. Hey, you go against a 300-pounder and see what happens. Linebacker, stay corner. Yeah, okay, I'll give you corner. Corner, safety, DB. Oh, thank you. Any DB. Man, defensive line. That's who we are. Why are you?
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
Put the money in the bag! Put it in!
With every season, we see familiar faces go and new ones step up to the plate to fill the shoes of the ones before them. Although a 7-4 record might not reflect on how important the 2023 senior class was, you can bet that there will be high expectations for the players that fill those open spots. With the graduation of senior quarterback Mike Hohensee, Bearcat fans can expect to see junior quarterback Chris Ruhnke calling plays for the Bearcat offense this season. As wide receivers Trayvon Alexander and Kashawn Griffin prepare for the upcoming NFL draft, senior wide receiver John Jajari and sophomore wide receiver Jake Weber have big shoes to fill as pass catchers for the Bearcats. Perhaps the biggest loss for the Bearcat offense comes with the transfer of star running back Jay Harris. With veterans like junior running backs Tank Young and Jaden Brady, fans should have no fear that the production on the ground will waver. More familiar faces are expected on the defensive side of the ball, as only 3 key players from the 2023 class have graduated. Bearcat fans can expect senior Carter Olson to man the middle of the field, with senior linebacker Isaac Volstead graduating. And with the transfer of defensive end Kobe Claiborne, sophomore Langdon Kitchen will have to step up big this year for the always dominant Bearcat defensive line. I hope that you all have enjoyed learning more about the Bearcat football team this spring, and make sure to tune in to Bearcat Update this fall with updates on the new season.
Thanks, Luke. The track and field team split up this weekend with some athletes competing in the Midwest Classic in Emporia, Kansas, while others participated in the Leopard Distance Carnival and Brian Clay Invitational in California. Despite the separation, the Bearcats were still able to find plenty of success as they won 12 events in Emporia, and senior Reese Smith took home the crown in the 3,000 meters steeplechase in California. Track and field will next be at home for the first time in the outdoor season with the Bearcat tune-up this Saturday. We are always glad to catch up with our Bearcats, but just like they're on break, we will be joining them. We'll be right back to check up on Noah Cornelius and meet the cheer team once again. Stick around.
Running since 1971, broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Featuring programs and news from National Public Radio, as well as Americana, jazz, and classical music. KXCV 90.5 FM Maryville, KNRW 88.9 FM Chillicothe.
Right side pass finds Waters. A three-pointer on the way. Good.
Life happens in an instant. Let us help you be a part of it. Live for you to enjoy.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. It's been a while since we caught up with Noah Cornelius and his journey with the disc golf team. So rather than tease you, we'll get right into it. Take it away, Jacob.
This is the final episode of Bogies to Birdies. I'm Noah Cornelius, and today we're going to wrap up everything we've worked on during the whole season. I would say just, it's kind of the lame answer, but I feel like everything in general has improved, and just overall like depth of knowledge of the game. When we had started, like I'd played before, but I didn't really have a deep background on like what disc to throw in certain situations, the difference between understable, overstable. Now I feel just way more confident on the course in general, and so I feel like that's been a big step up. And then I would say just like my backhand, forehand still needs a little work, but just overall I feel a lot more confident I'm throwing the disc farther. Yeah, I would say definitely playing in the tournament helped a ton, just like playing in high pressure situations where I needed to learn like how to shoot for the best shot, not necessarily the shot I want. And so that means not trying to run everything, laying up sometimes, and just playing smart, responsible disc golf. And so that's helped me and improved my scores, whereas I feel like now I'm approaching it as what's my best possible shot as opposed to I think I can maybe make this with my driver. So I would say at least by 6 or 7 strokes. I think prior to working with you guys, I was shooting like on a good day, like 10 or 11 over, and now I'm shooting 2 or 3 over. So it's been a huge improvement, and it's been a lot of fun to see. Building the whole bag, like that episode really helped me understanding the slots in my bag. I had discs that I had my own understanding of them, and then getting to throw them consistently, like almost daily, really helped me learn the flight patterns and just, you know, the different angles I can take. I mean, like I said, the Roadrunner used to be my favorite disc as an understable driver. Now I'm not throwing it nearly as much as I used to because I can level up to something a little more stable. But yeah, no, I feel like I definitely in certain situations understand and can confidently like tell what my disc is gonna do. This summer, I really want to crack down on my forehand, like maybe even just going out and playing rounds where I only throw forehand to really work on it. I'd like to, if I have the time, try to compete a little more, just to kind of ease into that a little bit. The trip to Colombia was a lot of fun, but see, it'll be interesting to see if I can get into a tournament around players that are more my skill level and see how I compete when I'm kind of more so in the running for scores. And so I would say that if I have the time, but other than that, just playing with my friends and hopefully winning a lot. So. It's still competitive. Like I said, when I'm back home and out with my friends, I'm trying to throw like, you know, the coolest possible shot, not necessarily the safest shot, but I feel like I'm definitely more up in the running where before I wasn't like ever in consideration for like winning a round. And so it'll be interesting to see how this summer goes because I feel like I've improved even from the stretch of spring break till now. No, I've absolutely loved this time with you guys and working with you guys. It's been really cool to have kind of just like a disc golf coach because I grew up playing sports my whole life, and I feel like that's always, I'm good at picking up on things quickly, but with someone's assistance, I'm not too good at teaching myself or just looking up stuff on YouTube. So it was nice to have someone literally just stand there and point out like, hey, this is wrong, work on this. And I feel like it's really helped me level up my game. Look out, Austin. I'm coming for you next year. You're not beating me in a single round. You will lose every putting competition. The end.
Thanks, Jacob. The men's tennis team fell 4-3 against William Woods in a match on Thursday and won't be in action again until April 20th. The women's tennis squad continued its winning ways by defeating Northeastern State 6-1 on Friday and Central Oklahoma 5-2 on Saturday. Senior Angela Permarino had maybe the biggest weekend of all, winning both doubles matches and both of her singles matches, never even losing a single set. The Bearcat women remain undefeated in MIAA play with a 5-0 record against the conference and a 19-1 record overall. The women finished this week ranked 19th in the nation as their wins continue to stack up. All the while, the men are building steam and are now ranked 35th after dropping to 42 last weekend. As previously said this season on Bearcat Update, we have been granted unprecedented access to the cheer team. Our reporter Jake Walker happens to be on the team, meaning we get to meet his teammates one by one. Take it away, Jake.
Welcome back to Meet the Cheer Team. For our final interview, we sat down with a fellow member of the KNWT family.
My name is Katie Bird. I'm a junior in mass media multimedia journalism, and I'm a bass and back spot on the Bearcat cheer team.
Like many others on the team, Katie's backstory with cheer can be summed up in 2 words: humble beginnings.
Ever since I was a little girl, I always did gymnastics from the age of 3. I actually went to a Christian private school in elementary school, and they were starting up a cheer team for the very first time. I was like, oh my gosh, I've done gymnastics. I think that'd be so fun. Just looking back to see kind of what we did like thigh stands as stunts, and there were probably 30 people at the basketball games we cheered at, but it really just propelled my passion for the sport of cheer. And then getting into middle school, I stuck with it, and then throughout high school, and I never thought I'd make it as far as I have, but here I am, almost 21 years old and still cheering.
Part of being an athlete is surpassing goals and overcoming mental blocks, and Katie has done both throughout her time at Northwest.
You know, when I came here, I never in a million years thought that I would get for a back tuck, for example. Through my first year on the nationals team, it really pushed me mentally and physically. And I remember, I'll never forget, our coach Henry told me, he was like, if you want a skill bad enough, you will get it, despite there being a time crunch or whatever other obstacles are in your way. And at first I wasn't sure if I believed him, but I feel like my determination became very, very strong throughout national season because the stakes are high. Like, we were training for a literal national competition, and I feel like I really have pushed myself further than I ever have thought I would go, and not only tumbling but stunting as well, whether it's learning a new position or shouldering in pyramids has been a challenge for me, and I feel like I've overcome that a lot too.
Ever since her freshman year, Katie has made friendships with her teammates that will last a lifetime.
I have met my very best friends on this team, whether it is my cheer little Lily, she is literally my little sister, or my roommate LT. There are so many amazing people on this team that truly make it what it is, and I have so much fun with them in cheer, outside of cheer. These girls are going to be, and guys are going to be my friends for life.
With tryouts for next year around the corner, Katie shares some words of encouragement for any potential Bearcats.
I would say if you are interested in joining Bearcat cheer, go for it. You can always be a part of the team for 1 year and just see how it goes. It is so much fun, and I feel like it really, college cheer disciplines you a lot more than high school, whether it is waking up for our 5:30 a.m. morning lifts or practicing when you really just don't feel like it. It's a great leadership opportunity and also just a great self-growth. But on top of that, you are taking advantage of the last time you'll ever get to cheer in your life. If you want to in any sort of way, I would say go for it because it can't hurt.
That's all the time we have with the cheer team. For one last time, take it away, Wiley.
Thanks, Jake. I'm Wiley Ray, and this is Cade Ricketts. Stick around to find out our favorite moments from the Bearcats this year. We'll be right back.
KZLX is a student-run radio station where Northwest students have complete freedom during their shifts. KZLX also hosts many radio shows such as Nermageddon, Revive, Day-to-Day Picks, and more. To learn more, visit kzlxfm.com.
Hey guys, I have the new season of Gen 2.
Get over here, let's check it out.
Oh, you always gotta blow these things out. Alrighty guys, gather around.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update with the X. I'm Wiley Ray, and this is Cade Ricketts. Cade, how are you doing today?
Doing just great, Wiley.
It's been a crazy week for Bearcat athletics here as the Bearcats announced a new head coach for the Northwest Missouri State men's basketball team. Cade, let's send it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, bringing in Matt Keeley, it's going to be our 21st head basketball coach, so I think that's a pretty rich history when you get up to 21. I think you see that a lot more at this division. But 21st coach, he's coming off of a 19-10 season that he had at Ottawa University, located in Arizona. I feel like 19-10 isn't great, but like we talked about earlier in the show, he did go on ahead and win, or at least make some tournaments and win their conference. So that's positive. Another thing to look at, then we mentioned there are an NAIA school, which is different from an NCAA school. And then here's the biggest difference is the way I would break it down is when you look at an NAIA school, it compares pretty well to a D3 school. Now, if you're a top NAIA school, you might locate kind of closer to a D2 school. So, and I feel like Matt Keeley is kind of pretty much a D3 coach in my eyes, and obviously they talked about 113-89 overall record, 2 conference titles. So he's got some work to do, but I think we're happy to have him here at Northwest.
Yeah, and when you just look at the comparison between Ben McCollum and Matt Keeley, you know, McCollum double the tenure here at Northwest, or double the tenure in general when you compare these two statistics, but 11 conference titles in the 15 years McCollum's been here, 2 in the 7 years Keeley had at his spot, and then 1 Coach of the Year for Keeley just coming out of it in 2023. But when you just look at how he was as a coach, they went back-to-back Final Four appearances with their basketball squad. So kind of looking at that and then looking at that transition here to Northwest Missouri State, Cade, do you think there's going to be any players that he brings with him to Maryville?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we talked about it in last week's show that McCollum might be taking some people like Bennett Sturts to, obviously, to Drake with him to bring in some of your best players. I think on the flip side of that, I was looking at their roster this morning at Ottawa University, Arizona. J.C. Catchings, 16 points per game. He's a junior, had a really solid season, was their leading scorer. I wouldn't be surprised to see him bring a guy like that. I think if he wants to implement his system, you're going to bring in some outside guys and keep some guys here, but nothing's more valuable to a team than bringing in a guy that knows your system already, that's a kind of a player's coach that can teach the system to other players.
Yeah, and when you look at just how this season's going to play out for the Bearcats, and with Keeley being the head coach, the Bearcats know what they are going to have with a head coach. Things get excited. But our producer is once again joining the fun as we take these next few minutes to take a look at the impact of Kaylee Rock and her recent award. Take it away, Killian.
The 2023-24 athletic year was filled with plenty of peaks and valleys, between yet another dominant year of basketball or the continued excellence of the football team. Sometimes things can just get lost. And one of those things is the impact that Kaylee Rock has had on the soccer program and the lasting legacy she's left behind as her days at Northwest come to a close. Kaylee Rock spent over 5,000 minutes on the field for the Bearcats. She took full advantage as she became Northwest's all-time leading scorer and passer, as she has the most goals and assists of anyone to ever suit up for the Bearcats. But the accolades for Rock continue even after her playing days, as she received the United Soccer Coaches College Player Award distinction. The award is given to players who are not only exceptional on the field, but show exemplary character off of it. She's been not only a leader for the team, but has made strides to make significant improvements in the program and in the community. Even dating back to her final season with the Bearcats, she found time to meet with our host, Jason Holland, and show us how the average person just isn't able to compete at the level she has dominated for 4 years. Kaylee Rock joins an elite group of Bearcat athletes who transcended the sport they played. Athletes like Sam Roberts and Trevor Hudgens as players who competed at the Division II level and stood out as players who just couldn't be ignored due to their skills. Along with Kaylee Rock and her greatness, what other moments did we potentially miss during this season? Let's find out on Bearcat Update with the X.
Thanks, Killian. Now, Cade, what have been some of your best moments from this athletic season?
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about things we maybe missed, I don't know if we somewhat missed this, but to me it's just Jay Harris. I don't know if you can ever appreciate a player of his caliber as much as he's worth. I mean, we're talking about a guy last year who ran for 244 carries, 1,433 yards, and 14 touchdowns. I mean, you just gotta be kidding me. He was an absolute man amongst men. And for me, the most memorable moment of the whole thing, Wiley, was against Central Oklahoma. He ran for 274 yards against one team in one game, 4 quarters, 274 yards, 4 touchdowns. Just so impressive. And like I said, I know we gave him a lot of love when he was here, but now that he's moved on to Oregon, it's one of those things looking back on, I don't know if you ever appreciate that enough.
Yeah, it's one of them things you don't appreciate enough until it's gone. And just looking at the caliber he made, I mean, Oregon isn't a small Division I school. And looking that he made that jump from a Division II powerhouse like the Bearcats here at Northwest and making that jump to a now Big Ten school, that really shows how much of a grind it takes and how much of an athlete Jay Harris has been for the Bearcats. My most memorable moment of the season, has been the Bearcats winning the regular season at home. I had the opportunity of getting a picture with our producer Killian and Daniel Abreu holding the regular season trophy, and then I had the honor of going with the Bearcats to Kansas City for the MIAA basketball tournament, and the Bearcats just completely dominated the MIAA tournament. They won the first game 80-52 over rival Missouri Western, who they split the season with, and then they beat Washburn 76-59 in the semis, and then in the finals beat Pitt State 78-65. But that'll do it all for Bearcat Update with the X. I'm Wiley Ray, and with me last time is Cade Ricketts. We'll send it back to Jason Holland in the studio. Take it away, Jason.
But that's all the time we have for Bearcat Update. I'm your host, Jason Holland, and you're watching Bearcat Update, the provider of complete coverage of Northwest sports. We're live every Sunday at 1:15, and I want to say a big thank you for joining us this semester. As well as Bearcat Update, you can also find KNWT TV's other content. We appreciate all your support this season, and we will see you in the fall. Take care.